Okay. So we completed with the tabular report, and then we have also seen like how we can apply the different forms of filters on a particular report. So we have studied something called as field filter, after that row limit filter, and a cross filter. So these are three different types of filter that you could apply on any form of the report, not just with the tabular. I have taken those examples on tabular, but that doesn't mean it cannot be applied on other kinds of report. No, it's not like that. Obviously, what you did, what you learned for the tabular report, the same could be applied. Like you could create a field filter for the summary and for the matrix and for the join, and every filter what you have learned, field filter, cross filter, and a row limit filter, you could simply apply all of them on all kinds of reports. There's only one thing that is going to be differ. I'll tell you what it is. See, these all are the tabular reports that we have formed, right? So for example, now if I open one of them and we go over this and we try to schedule that, right? Now, this is going to be something which you are going to find. There's one type of report. There's one type of report which cannot be scheduled. What is that type of report which cannot be scheduled? We are going to learn it, right? We are going to learn that in the coming topics. That actually is a joint report. So we were going to see that, but now see, when I'm talking about applying a filter, so when I'm talking about applying a filter, there are three different types of filters. You could apply a field filter. You could also apply cross filter and a row limit filter. Now, these three could be applied on any report. Your report type would be like tabular. Your report would be summary, or it's a joint report, or it's a matrix report. You could apply filter on any of them. There are two more things that you have to study, which I have kept pending because of the coming topics. I know what to pitch and when to pitch, right? See, there are two more things and which we have to study about this, apart from the types of report. Of course, that is one of the type. I started with tabular. I'm yet to finish summary, joint, and matrix. But as and when I'll finish this, if we consider, that this is my topic number one, which I'll have to finish, I'll have to teach you like how many different types of reports are there. If I would consider this as point number one, now point number two would be, after finishing them all, point number two would be, which is that type of report which cannot be scheduled. I have seen that. I have shown you that tabular report can be scheduled, and how to schedule that. How to schedule that also we have seen. Now, point number two would be like, after finishing how many different types of reports, point number two would be, which type of report cannot be scheduled. You're going to have, you're going to see that. And point number three, on which report we can create dashboard, or maybe on which report we cannot create dashboards. What is a dashboard? We're going to see that. All right. See, there are four different types of reports. Tabular, you have seen. This is a tabular report. This one is a tabular report, right? Concentrate on to this particular area here. Do you see any such button like create chart or chart, C-H-A-R-T, chart? There's no such button over here. What is available? Review, tabular format, show, remove all columns. These are the controls that are present over here. Now, in this, as a part of this, I'm going to start with the next type, that is summary. You're going to see something new over here. And when we, add chat karke ek button rahega, that you're going to see it over here. And after that is completed, we're going to have a discussion on this, right? So let's first of all understand what is a summary and what additional you can create on a summary report. which is not possible with a conventional tabular report. So first of all, let me try to describe you like what exactly is a summary report. All right. In general, if I wanted to summarize something, in general, if I'm saying that I would try to summarize this for you, I'll try to create a summary of this for you. In a common English, in a common English, what does this word summary actually means? Summary means, when you try to abstract something, if you are having lots of information, but for not everybody, not every information is useful. Maybe you're trying to summarize something for somebody. You're trying to extract, you're trying to abstract what is more important seems to for somebody and just ignoring all other facts. There we used to say that, we are summarizing something. And this is what, the news editors usually do. When probably a news reporter submits a maybe for the next day, whatever the newspaper is coming to you. So reporter has submitted, he just created a report which is which actually, describe the whole event in a very elaborated manner. Let's consider there was something going on in a city and a news reporter has been sent to cover that event. And then he has taken so many of the photographs and all that. And then he wrote what to say? He wrote a news onto that particular event. So there in that news, he described everything in a very elaborated form. Now, when the same news has been given to editor knows everything, like, how many news have to be accommodated in maybe like page number 1 or 2 or 3. So he cannot print because if the news is very big, maybe the other news he cannot be able to. So what is the role of an editor? He used to abstract. He do an activity we call as an data abstraction. In more technical word. In a more technical word, this is called as data abstraction, where we try to find out, where we try to abstract, we try to extract what is important, what feels to be important, and we'll try to, just ignore all other things. So that is what is an summary. That is what is an abstraction. Now, summary report, whenever we try to group something, for example, let me run this report. Now, this is a report which is giving me the details of account records. Whatever the columns I have selected, whatever the fields I have selected, based on that. Now, based on that, it's actually indicating me this, that this much data is present in the account object. Now, let's consider that I wanted to summarize this. Let's say based on the rating I wanted to summarize. Let me try to show you. How exactly I wanted this to get displayed like this. Now, I wanted to see all of those accounts where the rating is blank in one group. And then I wanted to see all of those accounts where maybe like rating is hot into a second group. Like this is going to be my one group, actually second group. And then this is going to be, this one would be the first group where I'm actually looking into account records where there is no rating, but the value of rating is simply blank. And then there is a second group. There is a second group where all of those account records, those where the rating is hot, here the rating is blank, here the rating is hot. They are being clubbed into a single group. And after that, there's a third group of all those accounts where the rating is warm. And after that, there is one more group where the rating is cold. So if I am now showing you this report, I can say that I have summarized this report based on rating. But then, if I'll ask you, or maybe if somebody would ask you, Acha, can you, okay, I understand. You just make a click over here. And based on that, you have, bring all them in a single group. Like how many, those account where the rating is cold. Now I can see them in a group. Oh, that's good. All of those account, where the rating is like warm, I can see them in a group. That is also good. And likewise, we have partitions, we have partitioned them in a separate group. We partition them in a separate group. But the question, one thing more over here. How many of such an account record where the rating is cold? How many of this is the account record where the rating is warm or maybe hot or not? So you literally have to manually count it. One and then two, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. So this is not an efficient way. Although with the tabular record, I could summarize, but that is not an efficient way to do this. All right. Let me show you what does summary reports would bring to you. All right. So let's go with this use case. Let's say configure a summary report to represent all of the account records by grouping based on the rating field. All right. What does it mean? So I'll go to report. I'll create a separate report for this. So let me create a new report on the account. So I'm selecting account from here and create. Now, I don't want owner, type, rating, last activity, modified. This I don't want. Let me add few more columns to this. Account name is already there. Annual revenue I wanted to see. Rating is already there. Industry also I wanted to bring this. Ownership also. And let's say I wanted to see billing, city and country. Phone. Oh, phone and the fax. Also the website, active status, customer priority. All right. And then I wanted to see all accounts of all time accounts. All time accounts. Now see, if I now run this report, it's as good as the one which we have previously seen. Okay. All right. So I go back to customize this. See, whenever for the first time, whenever for the first time you land onto this interface, the first report what you create is actually a tabular. Now you'll have to convert this. You'll have to convert this from tabular what you want. Summary, matrix, or a joint report. So I'm going to convert this into a summary report. So first thing what I did is like, it by default, it was a tabular report. I just added those columns which I wanted to show on a report. And I have removed obviously, which I don't want to be present on the report. So once this adjustment had been done, let's now convert this. Let's now convert this from tabular to summary, right? So just make a click over here. It would open. Obviously, eventually this pop-up is going to get open. And then just make a click onto summary. Now, one more thing I wanted you, everybody, to please concentrate over here. Something new is going to be happen, which you are going to observe as soon as I'll convert this, right? Summary. See, the whole interface actually has been changed, and I can see one button over here at chat, which is right now is not enabled. It's going to be enabled. Don't worry. There's a button automatically pop up at chart. What does it mean? I'll show you. First of all, there are actually two things which I wanted you to observe. The first thing, one button has been added, and more importantly, one dropping zone is being created. See, drop a field here to create the grouping. If you wanted to create a summary report, let me take it back to tabular. So if you wanted to create a summary report, then this must be summarized based on certain fields. Like I'm showing you this example. जब हम अभी हम क्या बात कर रहे थे? I was telling कि यार देखो मैं चाहता हूँ अभी ये पूरा scattered है. I wanted, जैसे मैंने rating पे click कर दिया तो it would arrange them, right? It would arrange them like this. That is okay. But then I wanted to also have, I also wanted to see the count. Like how many of those account records are there where the rating is blank? Although they seems to be in a group, but then I'll have to manually count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want it to. अभी यहाँ तो 10-12 का data यार. Let's consider if it's a record of like maybe 5,000 or maybe 10,000 or maybe it's like 50,000 records are there. So it's obviously not possible to count everyone and to find it out क्या कितने account record है ऐसे जिसका rating blank है, जिसका rating hot है, जिसका rating warm है, cold है. So there is a better provision for this, and that is summary. So that is why. So whenever we are trying to summarize something, we first of all would require कि ये grouping में काय पर based करूं. So here we decided कि हमको ratings पे करना है. We wanted to group all of the account record based on ratings. So I'll go back and customize this. And then I'll make a click on tabular. and I click on summary. As soon as I make this, I try to make it as a summary report. There are two things which have been added. एक तो यहाँ पे एक button नजर आ रहा है, which actually is right now disabled anyways. The second thing, there's one drop zone. One drop zone just have been created, ये वाला. Now this drop zone is actually asking you कि आप यहाँ पे ना drag करके drop कर दो वो field जिसकी basis पे आपको summarized करना है इस report को, जिसके बेसिस पे आप ग्रुप करना चाहते हैं इस रिपोर्ट को. एंड दिस कुड बी सी, आप चाहे जितना डेप्थ पे जाए, अभी तो आपको एक ही ड्रॉप जोन नजर आ रहा है. नाउ देयर आर टू डिफरेंट वेज. आई वांटेड टू ब्रिंग रेटिंग ओवर हियर. देयर आर टू वेज. आई कैन सिंपली ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप, ऐसा जो मैं करता हूं. दूसरा, आई मीन इफ यू मेक अ क्लिक, तो यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हैं ग्रुप बाय दिस फील्ड. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ वे. इफ यू क्लिक दिस, इट वुड कम इनसाइड ड्रॉप जोन. वही जो मैं अभी करके दिखा रहा हूं आपको. लाइक आई जस्ट ब्रिंग इट ओवर हियर. सी, तो यहाँ ये कॉलम से हट जाता है ना, कॉलम से हट जाता है रेटिंग. ना रेटिंग बिकम्स दैट पैरामीटर बेस्ड ऑन विच दिस एवरीथिंग हैज बीन आर गोइंग टू बी ग्रुप. और फिर से एक नया ड्रॉप जोन यहाँ पे गेट. आई मीन मल्टी लेवल समराइजेशन भी पॉसिबल है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आई वॉन्टेड टू सी ऑल दोज. अच्छा, मैं वहां से बताता हूँ आपको. लेट मी फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रन दिस रिपोर्ट. नाउ इफ यू सी, नाउ इफ यू सी, there are 15 records. See, the count is over here. Where the rating is what? Blank. Rating dash. Rating blank. These all are those 15 records where the rating is blank. In total, there are 26 records. But out of that 26 record, now I could say there are 15 records where there is rating is blank. Did I calculated this manually? No. I can see this. I can see, and this is more visualized, because I could clearly see this is one section, and below to this there is in another section, below to this there is in another section. This is more visualized, easy to grab, easy to see and understand. So that is what is a benefit of a summary report. I could see that there are like, there are 6 records of the account where the rating is hot. These are those accounts. There are 3 records of the account where the rating is warm. These are those 3 records. And similarly, there are only 2 records where the rating is cold. By the way, these 2 are that records. That is what it gives a summary report. So summary report, it actually do what? It would partitionized, it would group, it would create the group inside in your reports. And that group is always created based on a certain field. Now, let's say, for example, let me go back, customize. Can I add something more to over here? Yes, of course I can do that. Of course I can do that. See, there's a column called ownership. Let me, let me add, I mean, this to in the grouping. So I'll just make a click. I can drag and drop. That is also possible. Second, group by this field. Now, rating along with ownership. All right. See, and one more drop zone is here. So what would be happen? See, there are 15 records in total where where the rating is blank. Now, out of that 15, 11 are the records where ownership is also blank. These are those. Then in the same group, as you can see the colors, in the same group, I mean, where there's a rating is blank, out of that 15 records, 11 are there where the ownership is blank, and 3 of them are there where the ownership is public, and 1 of them where the ownership is private. Now all these belongs to this group, ye wale group mein. Now the next group, there are 6 records in total where the rating is hot. Out of that 6 record, where the ownership is public, there are 3 records. Where the ownership is private, there is 2 record. And where there's ownership is subsidiary, is 1 record. So this is something, you could create multi-level of groups. You could create multi-level of groups over here. If you don't wanted this, you can simply remove that. Just make a click, remove the group. Remove the group. All right. Remove the group. Now you'll run this report. It would only have that rating wala group. That's it, like this. That is what is a summary report. Let me first of all save this and I'll come back. Summary report. I'm storing this into HR management reports, and let me save this. summary report, right? This is the report. So that was the first thing that is to be learned about this. Now, second and important thing, a very interesting thing, chat components. You can add, let me show you, you can add these different types of chats or any one of them. First of all, any one of them to this report. You can add chat to this report where you can add it in the top of the report or maybe in the bottom of the report. I'll show you. What are the different types of chat? This is a bar chart, but it seems to be horizontally aligned, so it's a horizontal bar chart. This is also a bar chart, but seems to be vertically aligned, and so this is a vertical bar chart. This is line chart, pie chart, donut chart, donut, right? And then funnel chart, scatter chart. These all are the different forms of chart. Let me try to add this first of all. All right. And then I'll make certain formattings. Chart title, you can give account records with rating. And then enable Hoover. What is a Hoover? I'll show you. Where do you want it to display? Above the report or below the report? I wanted to display this. Let's go with the above. Chart size, medium, small, tiny, large. Let me go with try with the medium. If it looks appropriate, I'll keep it this. Otherwise, I'll make the changes. And okay. And now see, this is one chat component. Let me try to run this report to see it properly. So at above the report, now you can see one chat is also being added, right? So I could see, I mean, as soon as I put my cursor over here, something is appearing. Something that is what is in a Hoover feature. You put your cursor and something would appear. That is what it is called as Hoover. So now see, record count on one side and rating on another side. So if I wanted to see the total, let me go back. Might be there is something for the total as well. It's not over here with this. Yeah, it would be with some other. Okay, koi problem nahi. Let's see the different types of chat we are going to see. So in total, it's not showing with this. I'll have to check. But with pie chart, it's going to show pie and donut chart. Don't worry. So I mean, out of whatever the total is, 15 are those account where there is no rating. 6 are those which having hot, and 3 are those which having, I mean, 3 are warm and then 2 are cold, whatever. All right. So this is one form of a report. Now, if you don't want it, just go back and edit. Try it, select with something else. I can select with ratings, or maybe the lines, or if you select like horizontal, vertical. So how it's going to look like? Just look it once, and then we're going to see the another thing. So this is also one of the form which is like horizontal, horizontally, if you wanted to display the data. And then if you select the line chart, it would be getting displayed like this. So that is, I mean, that is not perfect in this case, because we merely couldn't understand. I mean, unless and until you know how to draw the statistics. So it's actually like this, I mean, like this point you'll have to take. Whenever we study line chart, it's being studied like this. So this is that area, this is that portion, and up to this point, what is the count? 6. At this point, 6. So 6 is rating is hot, and if you take it like warm, so how many point warm you'll have to take a point from here. So it's like you'll have to make a count, maybe like 3 are those records where the rating is warm. So basically this is what a line chart. Let me try to show you some more. If I make it like a pie chart, and then in the formatting, show values, it would show you the values. And now with this, you can see how many total records are there. So out of that, like 15% or maybe 58% are having blank, 2% are having cold, 3%, 12% actually, 3 of them is warm, and that this is a pie chart. Let me try to show you the this one, the donut chart as well. Show the values, show the totals. Let me show you this as well. And I'll this is something called as a donut chart. All right. So with this donut chart, you can see in the center, there is like total out of this 26 record, 15 of them are with having 58%, 15 of them, maybe 58% of the total is having a blank rating. Now, out of this total of 26, there are 6 record which rating is hot and percentage is 23%, right? So this is a good way to display this, right? This is a good way. So now if you run this report, you can even say this. Now, what is one thing what you have observed? I can only bring one chat component with the report. I can only bring one chat component with the report. What if I wanted to see the multiple of them? Along with this, maybe I wanted to include the bar charts. Along with this, maybe if I wanted to include like funnel chart. So for that particular, you will be going to learn something called as, dashboards. Right now, what you have seen is that, I could bring a chat component along with a report, with a summary report particularly, but I cannot bring more than one. All right. So we can display chat component with the reports, with the summary reports particularly, not with the tabular report. You don't have any option. I'm going to talk about that as well. For right now, I can bring maximum one component, one chat component with the report. If I bring something else, it would replace this. It would going to replace this, right? It would going to replace this. So this is what does it means by a chat component, and accordingly you can select which particular chat you wanted to be get displayed. You wanted to be get displayed with your reports. All right, let me now save this. Run this report and save. All right, so this is what does it means by a summary report and a chat component. Now, let me describe you one more thing, which every one of you have to write it and have to remember. See, whenever you create a chat component, the chat components can only be created on summary report and metrics reports. Listen this once again, and you'll have to write it. Everyone, all right, just write it. I hope you guys are taking your own form of notes. Maybe whenever you sit in class, you sit like you are studying something. You're not watching a movie, by the way. And this is not a show which is going on. It is not for your entertainment purpose. This is, you are sitting over inside a class, you are going to learn something. So it's always like, there's something which I used to say, which is not there in the notes. And this is something which you have to mark, because kitni cheezein yaad rakhoge aap? So I can just assume, I can just hope कि आप लोग जब क्लास में बैठते हो तो you sit like with a pen paper, you have your own copy of notes that we, the running notes बोलते हैं, that you always take it. If so, it's a good practice. If you are not following this, I think you should start it. I think you should always sit like a class. You are studying something. Give justice to your study, right? Although it's a good thing that you are in your comfort zone. You are sitting in your home, maybe with your own room, your table, whatever. That's a good part. I mean, this is the excellent form of study, that you are studying in your own comfort zone. But don't feel कि बहुत ज़्यादा comfortable हो जाए अपन. All right. So whenever you are sitting in a class, sit like you're trying to study something. So there are 4 different types of reports: tabular, summary, joint, and matrix. But when we talk about about the chart components, about the dashboards is going to be the second part of discussion after reports, because analytics, I told you there are 2 things you'll be going to study. Analytics, there are 2 things you are going to study. In the analytics, you are going to study 2 things: reports, dashboards. Reports, right now we are on to this. Iske baad aayega dashboards. But anyways, let me combine this discussion with the point which I'm telling you, right? It's actually applicable in both of the cases. Whenever we wanted to create a chat component, whenever we wanted to create dashboard components, what is dashboard would be a part of discussion. Right now, just listen it and write it down. Whenever we wanted to create a chat component, a dashboard component, it can only be created on summary reports and metrics reports. The chat components, the dashboards can only be created on summary report and metrics report. It cannot be created. It cannot be created on tabular and joint. One second. Okay. So see, whenever we are creating a chat component, it can only be created on two different forms of report. One is summary, the another one is metrics. You're going to see it in both of the cases. But if you are creating a tabular report, and or maybe you are creating a joint report, so chat components or dashboards cannot be created on these two types of reports, tabular and joint. All right. So that was one thing. Now go with this 812. Let me try to finish one more thing, and that is bucket field. नहीं रहने दो इस पर डिस्कशन थोड़ा सा मुझे अच्छे से करना है. I'm going to take it by tomorrow because I wanted you to study something which is really important. तो अभी इसको जल्दबाजी में नहीं पढ़ाता मैं. हाँ, go with some of the governor limits, just go and study how many columns could be added, how many rows could be displayed. Somebody had asked me this, sir, like, you are displaying records over here. There are 26 records you could display. How many of them could be displayed on a report? There must be certain limit. Yes, of course, there's a limit. Up to 2000 maximum. Up to 2000 maximum you could display. All right. You could add up to 50 columns, something like that. So go with all these governor limits, whatever is there. Just learn it once, and by tomorrow morning, I'll introduce you one important feature called as bucket field. In so many cases, this is an excellent feature of the reports. And see why it is taking time. Analytics, I told you when I started in the first day itself, I have given you that introduction, that this is something which is a very extensive feature of Salesforce. And you should have a deep understanding, because why no? Apart from creation, there are so many times when we try to explain to somebody who is a non-technical person, maybe our client, we try to explain them what Salesforce could provide you. And we are trying to, elaborate them. We are trying to tell them that this is one of the feature of Salesforce. And that is, now, apart from all those, your business automations and all that, analytics is something which is very, every businessman, every business organization, they are very interested to know about this. So when you start drawing a diagrams like this, and when you start giving the demonstration that, see, this is one of the feature, and I could just not one type, I can show you, like, there are so many different forms of diagrams, there are so many different forms of charts are there. So it's up to you how you wanted to see that, how you wanted to see that. If you wanted to see this in a form of bar chart, We can even do that. We can use this type of chart. We can use that type of analytics. I have seen, guys, analytics is always something which is very impressive, because if they would know that at the end of month, at the end of week, at the end of day, they could summarize and bring it in the front. So this whole statistics would help them out to understand where the business is going on these days. So that's the reason we are taking, we are taking time for this. I could end this within 3 sessions, but this is not going to be the good practice in my opinion. It would be something like 3 लेक्चर में अगर मैं इसको खत्म कर दूं, तो मैं वो सारी चीजें ऑब्वियसली आई कैन नॉट बी एबल टू डिस्क्राइब यू दैट. मैं टाइप्स भले ही पढ़ा दूंगा आपको, बट देन जो एक डेप्थ ऑफ द नॉलेज चाहिए वो आप नहीं पहुंच पाओगे. So that is the reason I'm taking my time for this. And we are understanding every minute detail of this, right? Everything, I mean, what we are discussing is like, कि आपको at the end of this, you would be ready with every minute concept and you know everything about that. So that is the reason it would take time. That is the reason it would take time. और वैसे भी एक बात मैं आपको बताऊं, if you would compare my teaching with some other, I am 100% sure about this. People are, I mean, there are so many guys who are giving the Salesforce training. They are ending everything in 4 months. They are, in the 4 months, they make you aware about development, integrations. I'm not sure integration or deployment, they would teach you or what. But at least admin along with development, they are finishing everything in 4 months and 5 months. And here I require somewhere around 3 to 4 months. I just require for the admin. So basically, it's like, this is what, I have discussed this in the beginning itself. If you are coming to study this from me, I would require time, because I don't do this for business. I am not interested in forming new batches. I always know what my interest is teaching. I wanted you to become a knowledgeable person in the Salesforce from the day one itself. You should have a deep understanding of everything. सो एक वो जो 3 या 4 महीने में ट्रेनिंग कवर करता है, और एक आप वो जिन्होंने पूरा वक्त दिया इसको, तो उसमें फर्क रहेगा. एंड दैट वुड बी गोइंग टू रिफ्लेक्ट फ्रॉम द डे वन इटसेल्फ. थोड़ा लेट होगा आपको, आप मेरे साथ आ रहे हो, थोड़ा सा लेट होगा आपको आने के लिए, बट लेकिन जब आप एंटर हो जाओगे ना, यू विल नो एवरीथिंग. बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं पढ़ाई जाती है, अप्रूवल प्रोसेसेस नहीं बताया जाता है, करेंसीज के बारे में, ट्रांसलेशन वर्क बेंच के बारे में नहीं बता, बहुत सारी चीजें, ओमनी चैनल्स एंड ऑल. people would skip everything. How come आपको कैसे पता चलेगा? Because आप तो नए हो ना, you don't know. But actually कैसा है, मैं बहुत सारी चीजें और काफी चीजें डीप में लेके जाता हूँ. The experience what I am having, और जो कुछ भी मैंने रियलाइज किया है, that everything I used to keep in front of you. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है जो मैं छुपाता हूँ. तो कैसा इतनी सारी चीजों को इतने डीप से पढ़ाने में वक्त लगता है, तो थोड़ा सा ना, you'll have to keep patience with me. ठीक है, मैं जल्दबाजी में नहीं पढ़ा सकता यार. चलो, thank you so much for joining. Let me give you this command if you wanted to discuss something. All right, you can now unmute yourself if you wanted to say something. Yes, anything, guys? Any questions? Any questions? All right, thank you so much for joining. Let's meet by tomorrow morning.